down the Rabbit Hole Quilts. I'm Tessa. Today we're going to make a cat mat. It's a June Taylor Quilt As You Go project, and I will put a close-up on the screen so that you can see it. But basically we are going to be using this template right here to make a mat for my cat's bowls. So I've chosen just some random fabrics that I had in my collection. Some fat quarters I've picked up at different quilt stores or been given to me, and I'm just going to use those because it doesn't require a whole lot of fabric to do this. And the pattern does require that you pre-wash your fabric because of shrinkage. The first thing we need to do is we need to put the backing on our fusible fleece. And we do that, I just got it turned upside down, and the back has this rough texture to it, and that's the side we're going to be ironing onto. And I have chosen this back quarter. It's kind of a cute little thing. It's going to go on the back. And I've laid it on there. Make sure it's covered, so when I hold it up to the light I can see that I've covered the entire area. Just going to move it over a little bit here. And then we're going to press it, but we're going to be careful not to let the iron touch the fusible fleece, or we'll get that goo all over the back of our iron, and that'll just nasty to get off. So let's go ahead and get this fused together. So the back has been pressed on, looks like this, and now we're just going to go ahead and use a pair of scissors, and we're going to cut around the outside of the fish. And our fish is cut out and ready to go. Alright, so our next step is to go ahead and place the pieces on there in the numbered sequence, and we're going to sew them down. Our first piece goes right on number 1, just like that. And then our second piece is just laid right next to it right here, and we're just going to sew a 1/4 inch seam right there through all the layers, so we're quilting as we go. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We are ready to start sewing. I went ahead and pinned the pieces on so they don't move, and I went ahead and marked a 1/4 inch on my fabric so I stay right on it. I've loaded it with my walking foot so that it moves smoother, and we're going to go ahead and start sewing. Alright, so our first piece is on, and we're just going to go ahead and we're going to finger press this one down to the next piece just like that, and we're going to add our next one. All of our center pieces are on, and now we're going to start and add the side parts. So I have all the pieces sewed on, and this is what it looks like. It doesn't look much like a fish right now, does it? But if you turn around in the back, you can see the shape that we originally cut out. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim around that so we can get ready to bind it. So it's time to put the binding on, and I've gone ahead and already cut the binding. And the binding is cut on the bias like this. And it's done that way so that it has some stretch to it. See how you can stretch where regular bias or regular bias tape wouldn't do that. It's all pinned on now, and I'm going to go ahead and start sewing it on. So the binding is sewed on now. I sewed it to the front, just a 1/4 inch seam around the edge, and now we're just going to flip this over like this, and I'm going to stitch it down by hand. You can stitch it down with a whip stitch, a blind hem stitch. You could use your machine however you like to do it. I happen to like to stitch it down by hand because it's just kind of relaxing. So I'm going to stitch this down and get to see what it looks like. I am back, and the binding is now put on the little cat mat. You can see, I think if you look really close, that I've just whip stitched it down with the needle and thread. And so this is how it looks. And let's find out if my cat Gigi likes her new mat. This is my kitty Gigi. And as you can tell, she loves her new mat. So if you enjoyed making a cat mat with me, please like and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you next time. Have a good day!